Hello everyone! So I have a scrap lift for you today. You saw the layout at the beginning, and it is a layout by Daisy Scraps. And today, well, this whole month for Spiegelmom Scraps, we are scrap lifting each other. So I chose that photo to scrap lift of Daisy's. And I have lots of fun products pulled out. So there's all these new wonderful wood veneers in the Spiegelmom Scraps shop. I'm going to be using a bunch of them. Primarily, this layout is just about using that fabulous wood veneer. I did pull two sequin mixes out. It's Earthy Treasures and a mini pack, which has just these lovely like copper wood grain sequins in it. So I am going to play with those, but just a little bit. Primarily, I'm going to be using these two packs of wood veneers. I'm going to be using those super cute glasses again that I love, and I'm also going to be using the Rustic Stars set. So I'm starting with matting my photo and deciding where I want that to be, and I'm going to adhere that down. Even though we're going to do a ton of stamping on this layout, I wanted to get my photograph and a couple layers underneath adhered down because I don't want to stamp where I don't need to stamp. So all of the papers and supplies, die cuts and things are from Cocoa Vanilla Studios. This is the, I want to say, U-Rock collection. The boy collection before Boys Roll. So yeah, that would be U-Rock. And I'm going to be, so that's the collection I'm going to be using. And then I also have a set of stamps. These are exclusive stamps. They are were made by Ink Road Stamps, but you can only get them if you're part of the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. Christina still has these stamps in stock. So if you want a super fun kind of boy mom stamp to go along with your boy collections and your boy photos, this one is a really great one. It's a little bit smaller than my boy mom stamp that I created with the Ink Road, but it's super duper cute. It has little icons and lots of really cute phrases. So you can contact Christina at Christina Sorge at Redefined Creative and the Secret Not Secret Kit Club if you're interested in grabbing one of those sets. So I'm pulling out the wood veneer that I want to play with today, and I'm going to be embossing them with some embossing powder from Ultnu. I'm also going to go ahead and go through some of these die cuts, and I'm just going to pull a couple out. I'm going to be primarily using the pattern paper from this collection, not so much the embellishments, because I'm going to pull my embellishments from my wood veneer and using my stamp set. This would be a great way to make a collection stretch because you're not using a lot of the collection, and sometimes because of money you can't, or budgeting, you can't get an entire collection of stuff, right? So I always think when I have a collection I really would like to have some of, but the budget is not going to allow it, then a great way to do that is to buy like a 6x6 paper pad or 6x8 paper pad, and maybe one pack of die cuts, and then just pull the rest from your stash, because if you have some embossing powder or some stamps that you can like stamp, or you can add the colors from the collection and use those. So what I've done here is I am heat embossing with the wood veneer with two different colors of Ultnu embossing powder. One is platinum, and one is called translucent pearl, which is this gorgeous, like, glittery, it's a glitter embossing powder, so it doesn't have color, it's just clear, but then it has this, like, gorgeous glitter in it. And I have a coffee filter out, and I'm just smooshing the wood veneer down into the embossing pad, and then smooshing it down into the embossing powder, and then heat setting it on my Tim Holtz glass mat, because it doesn't let the heat go down into my table so that my table doesn't warp, because my table's just plastic. And so I'm doing that. I kind of split the wood veneer that I pulled in half, so that half of it is going to just have that clear shimmer embossing, which will let the wood color shine through, and then half has that platinum embossing powder, which gives it this nice metallic look. And for most of these, I put a couple layers of embossing powder on them, not just one. So you see there how I melt the embossing powder, flip it over quick, dump it back into the powder while it's still hot, and then emboss it again, and that gets you a nice thick layer of gorgeous embossing on top of your wood veneer. So I'm just going to continue to do that, and then we're going to get to the stamping part. So I've chosen 4 colors. These are warm gray colors from Altenew. So it's Morning Frost, Lava Rock, Moon Rock, and Evening Gray. Those are the 4 colors that are in that collection, and those are mini ink cubes that you can grab at their store without a problem fairly easily. Now I'm going through the stamp set. I'm pulling the stamps I want to use. So there's some really awesome, cool sentiments and icons that I really want to go ahead and use on this layout. Daisy's layout, she used all wood veneer. I'm going to use a mix of wood veneer and stamping because it's me and stamping. So what I'm doing here is I have the stamps that I want to use, I have the colors I want to use, but I don't want to fill this entire section with a stamping. I want to leave some rather large kind of open places because you can kind of see here how I'm thinking about this. I'm going to leave these big open places where I can go ahead and put the wood veneer. So I'm just going to kind of audition the wood veneer for now to make sure I leave myself enough space for it, but I'm not going to adhere it down until I've done all of the stamping that I want to do. I ended up using all 4 of these stamping colors, and there was still, so because of the way I did my embossing, there ended up being embossing powder stuck to the back of the wood veneers, which is why you see me like brush it off. And I think at one point I kind of stopped the camera and flipped all the wood veneers over and just like brushed them off into the garbage can because I was like, oh, this little embossing powder that was on the back of them. It wasn't the stuff on the top, that was all melted, but like underneath there was some still. So as you can see, I'm just going to continue on here adding these stamped images and phrases and creating this little kind of cluster. And so between the stamp, the photos and the layers and the stamping, you have this like border that goes across the middle of the page. And Daisy's layout was 12 by 12, but mine is 8.5 by 11 because that's my jam. So I'm going to continue on here. Some of the stamping got stamped twice just to get it darker and get a better impression. And I did have some trouble. I don't know why I had gotten some ink. I think I got it like the last time I used my stamp platform, and there was like this ink on it, and anyway, it was all good. I fixed it up, but you can't see it. But you can see here, so I will say that I wanted my title to be this part, the part that said, "Let's build a fort." So I used the darkest stamp color I have, and I stamped that dark stamp color twice. I don't know why I kept the part in here where I'm putting all the stamps back onto the mat. I don't know what I was thinking there when I was in the editing process. But anyway, the part that says let's build a fort, and then the little tree, I made that the darkest color, and I stamped it I think 3 times, so it'd be really, really dark. So when this is all finished, that's the title, and it is quite a bit darker than everything else in the stamping. So I'm adding these couple of little die cuts that I picked out to add to my cluster here. Sorry, I kind of just lost completely my words. They just disappeared. And now I'm going to go ahead and add those wood veneers, because remember I left those nice big places for the wood veneers. I'm going to audition them at a couple different places till I figure out how I want them to go. I'm going to start with the glasses because the glasses are the biggest part, and I'm just going to adhere them down. See, oh here, see there was like that, remember I said I took a brush and like brushed all the excess stuff off the back of them? I must have done it as I was gluing them down. I remember doing it, but I don't remember what part of the process I did. So I'm using the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive on the back here. This is where I was like, oh, there's still embossing powder on the back of this. You know, scrapbooking problems. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and adhere all of these wood veneer pieces down where I want them, and then we'll continue on with the layout. So as I was putting together these clusters, off to the side I had this little arrow stamp that was also from that stamp set, but I had it on a small block and I'm using it as filler. Because even after I put like the wood veneer down and the glasses, I still had some spots that seemed too open. And this tiny little arrow stamp was the perfect little addition to add to different parts of my collaged area there. I always find when I'm doing big clusters like this that keeping just something tiny and small around on my desk that I can just use for those spots that you're not really expecting to need to fill in, but you do need to fill in to make the area look nice and full. So now I'm going to go ahead in with my sequins. So on camera, I just added these kind of copper wood grain sequins, and then I kind of put the layout aside, but when I got up or looked at it again later, I really wanted some more color. So I went back in with the Earthy Treasures mix and added some of the navy blue to the layout, but you'll see that in the close-ups at the end. So on Daisy's layout, she has this spot at the top and bottom where she had kind of backed and pulled apart her layout to create these little like ripped spots at the top and bottom. I love that, and I wanted to do that for sure. So I went ahead and I got two just little scrap pieces of paper, and you saw me there, I adhered the paper to the back of the layout and then just pulled and cut and tore a strip, and then stuck the pieces down with some staples. I'm using my T-square ruler because I want to make very sure that I get these little ripped areas that they go down the middle of the page and that they are in line with each other, because I didn't want them to look crooked. I didn't want crooked. So I went ahead and used my T-square ruler, so I got them like just right. And just my little paper here and do the staples. And then I added some more sequins, just the copper ones, but then I went back in later on and added the other navy ones that you can see. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't yet, I highly recommend these fun sequin mixes, or not the sequin mixes, the wood veneers. They are a really good price point. You get lots in the bag. There's lots of cute little shapes. There's some cute flowers I'm going to be playing with later on in an upcoming video, and you can always use my code to save 15% off. So I'm going to give you the close-ups here so you can see where I added the sequins, the different colors. You see there how I added some of the blue ones. It just added that little extra pop of color that the layout needed. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.